Audio Jungle.
Court is in session. We're night courting it. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Ryan in Sacktown with you. We flipped the schedule on you today. Grant went early, 4 o'clock. I'm here with you tonight, maybe going about an hour. Would love to have you get in on the action. It's been a bad week. I mean, a bad week for electronics on if you don't like that. Not sure if you caught Grant's story earlier in the week. You know, he's back in Sacktown right now. And the only car that they had on the line for his rental was an electric. Well, usually not a big deal, right? An electric, but it wasn't a Tesla. So he had no idea how to get this thing to charge, how to find a charger, and it just went on from there and there. Well, the reason we're coming to you tonight is I set my phone down. Like I came home, I sat my phone down, had like 75% battery, totally good to go, made lunch, came back over, picked up my phone, kaput, dunzo, gone. Like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, okay, I know the Apple tricks, right? You know, you press the volume button up, press the volume button down, hold the power button, nothing's working. Okay, well, maybe I misjudged the situation. Maybe I did not charge the phone. Maybe there wasn't as much battery as I thought. Yeah, well, I plugged it into 4 different chargers and my MacBook Pro. Did not work. And so I'm like, okay, we've got a problem. We got a big problem here. So I had to deal with that finally after about 8 hours today. After a wonderful lunch, by the way, a wonderful lunch at Bennett's West Side, or actually, we were at the Roseville location. Grant, Jerry, myself, and Brian Knight, Major League umpire. Oh, my apologies. See, this is one of those nighttime things where I messed up. It says I'm Grant. Why don't we just go with a quick rhino there? All right. Now we are set and ready to roll. So, anyways, 8 hours later, they were going to check this out. They were going to repair the phone, even though they said the interior of it was shot. It was a hardware thing, but we're going to switch out the parts. And I'm thinking, this doesn't make a lot of sense. And then I show up. Well, actually, I stayed because it didn't make sense to come back home. I stayed at the mall after that, waiting because it was like a 2-hour window that it was going to take. And when I get back, they're like, yeah, we're just replacing it. And I'm like, oh, man. So, anyways, new phone, had to go through the, iCloud process, all that. Tell you what, I'm doing a hell of a lot better than the 49ers right now. What the heck is going on there? How are you feeling, 49er fan? Honestly, let me know in the chat. How are you feeling right now? Being that the preseason's over, We are a day closer to kickoff, and granted, you get a Monday night game. You're the last game of week 1. But the news today, Brandon Ayuk medically cleared. And I've got some audio from Kyle Shanahan and also John Lynch. I don't know what kind of resolution this is going to be. In fact, I've talked to some people that cover the team closely. I'm going to share what they shared with me about what they are hearing. And if you're a Brandon Ayuk fan, you might not be happy about what they're saying. And me as a Seahawks fan, and I know I'm supposed to be objective, but y'all know I'm a Seahawks fan. I joke with Niners fans, and it's all in good spirit, right? It's good, clean fun. That's all it's supposed to be. But seeing what Niner fan has gone through this offseason, it is tough, man. It is tough. Things have just not been clicking, and I don't wish that upon my worst enemy. So, anyways, we're brought to you tonight by Bennett's West Side Grill in Rockland. Check it out. I talk about the brunch all the time, right? Grant got this fancy dancy little video. We're gonna make your mouth water right now. Brunch, 2 entrees, bottle of champagne, $49. Check this out.
The biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew.
Hungry? Are you hungry? How good does that look, right? So we're going to get to the Niners here in a second. I heard the beep, which means we are probably going to be talking about college football for a second. This dude is pretty wound up about the start of the season. And by the way, I'm going to throw a pick off of him really quick. I want to see what he thinks about this one. But we're going to kick off the show with a call. As I said, you can call the show if you would like. The QR code is above or top left corner of the screen. Also, the link is in the chat if you'd like to do it this way or that way. Let's bring in our man. He's already clapping his hands. Look at him. Corn Dog, what's up, my man?
Oh, man. What's up, Ryan?
Dude, electronic. I don't know what I did to piss off the karma gods with the electronics, but I'm hoping everything works here tonight. So anyways, what's up, dog?
Well, you know me, it's college football season, and I love that this is after dark, reminiscent of the Pac-12 after dark games.
Yes, which is now what, the Pac-2? The Pac nobody?
The Pac-2 featuring Mountain West.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, I'm going to start with you here. Really quick, I'm going to give everybody an upset right now. I know the spread is anywhere between 8.5 and 10.5. I think South Dakota State knocks off Colorado week 1. I'm calling my shot. Corn Dog, what do you think?
Honestly, I could see it happening. I have Colorado going 6-6. And most of their games last year, besides the Oregon game, are one-score games. So they won some games they shouldn't have, but they've also lost some games they should have won. And I think the same thing's going to happen this year. They have great skill players, no doubt about it. Travis Hunter is the best skill player in college football, no doubt about it. Shedeur Sanders is good, but Deion Sanders has not been able to recruit the line, and and Georgia Tech proved you can beat better skill players just by what? Winning the line of scrimmage.
And that's the thing. It's week 1. I did not expect to get that clean of a game between those two teams in week 0, between Florida State and Georgia Tech. I don't think we can expect that across the board in college football this weekend.
Oh, no, you just can't. College is, it is still a learning curve to, step up from high school to college. It's a lot faster. There's a lot more, different plays. Like, I know high school playbooks are nowhere near as big and as complicated as some of these colleges, like, especially like, coming from a Mike Leach system or a Lincoln Riley system, or, Norvell, so many of these, gurus, and I'll Les Miles, another one, Lane Kiffin, another one, all these offensive gurus, so many different trick plays and RPOs and stuff, and you're not going to out talent people like you did in high school. Most 4 or 5 star kids were on the best high school team in their area, but let's just face the facts. They were they were out talenting at least about 8 of their opponents. Just pure out talenting. Maybe there was one that could give them some trouble, maybe 2.
Yeah.
That's about it. At high school, that's usually how it goes.
Yeah, it's crazy the way, I mean, even public schools these days, many times, I don't want to say guys are like recruited, but the system in high school is different. Playbooks are a little bit bigger, but nothing compared to a college. No doubt about that.
Yeah. I mean, Folsom, has got a really good offensive playbook, but they just never could have the guys to compete with De La Salle.
Dude,
they're really good at beating up everyone else.
Yeah, so Folsom played, was it Long Beach Poly last week?
That's a good one.
I think it was Long Beach Poly. But anyways, I bring it up because I feel bad, but I got to do it. There's going to be a Folsom Rido, and it's for the kid. Is it unfair, Condog, to do a Rido about a student that's announcing a game? Is that low-hanging fruit?
Oh, I don't know, man. That's a tough one.
I mean, he did drop the F-bomb.
Oh, that's a pretty big dough. That's a pretty dough.
That's a pretty big dough.
Oh, man.
I'm trying to give him some love. I mean, indirectly. Any pub's good pub, right?
Yeah, well, my high school, St. Mary's, they actually lost the game to a team from Reno. They played an out-of-state game against Bishop Minot Miners. They lost 21-14. Hey, we're finally playing out-of-state games. We never played an out-of-state game when I was there. We did play De La Salle when I was there, so we were on ESPNU. We got stomped. Our quarterback fell under the pressure. He threw like 3-4 picks that game.
Dude, it's a hell of a lot better than what we were on. I played at Elk Grove, and this is like when high school football was popping in Northern California. And I know it's still pretty good, but we were on Access Television, my man. Access Public Television. There'd be a game of the week, and it was a rough broadcast, but the 2 dudes that did it, they had been doing it for a long time. I think one of the guys was like Coach something, and then I forget the name of the other one, but ESPNU, man, it's just when you get to play on national TV, the way that opens up avenues for kids that might not ever get recruited, you get to be exposed to.
We actually did get a player on the ESPN top 10 highlights that week, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, for a really hard hit. So, we did. So, that was
a snot bubble. I love it.
He ended up going to Wyoming because of that.
Good man. Good man. What's up, Finchy? Good evening, my friend. Hope you are doing well. I see 106 out there that have checked in or are watching.
So our quarterback may have faltered under pressure, but we did have a DB step up to at least get us a highlight.
There you go.
Think about this, dude. First play of the game was an 80-yard run from De La Salle on us. Like, just talk about heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, it's De La Salle, though, who refused to play Elk Grove in their heyday, by the way. Yes, if anybody here watching went to De La Salle, I'm calling you out. You guys refused to play us. Damn, I'm going Uncle Rico.
Honestly, I wish we would have got them our senior year, because we played them our junior year, and that was mostly our juniors weren't playing. My class wasn't playing, but because we beat them our JV year on their turf too. So
wow.
I feel like we might have been able to get the class of 2015 De La Salle team.
Wow.
We might have been able. I'm not saying we would have, but we had some player. We had a linebacker go to University of Buffalo. Got D lineman going to Cal Poly. I mean, obviously not big D1, but still D1 schools.
Yeah,
we had some football guys.
So yes, you are a St. Mary's Ram, right?
Yep.
Confirm that. There you go.
I bleed green and white.
There you go.
That is life. That is. Sometimes my blood. Sometimes that purple and white for Sacramento Kings, but I'm also St. Mary's Ram in heart too.
Love it. Okay, so really quick, college game of the week. What's it going to be?
I think the game of the week is going to be Notre Dame A&M.
Okay.
that's probably going to be the closest game down at Kyle Field in College Station. Texas A&M openers. They're actually, they believe, coming off a 4-game opener win streak. Notre Dame, they're coming with a pretty much a rookie offensive line, and this is going to be a tale of their season because Texas A&M has some really good edge rushers. This is good, but Notre Dame's coming in with Riley Leonard, who was the quarterback at
Duke
all the way last season with the current coach of Texas A&M, who's also switched schools. So there's 2 switches.
It's pro football, dude.
Mike Norvell switched to A&M, and Riley Leonard switched to Notre Dame, and they're playing each other week 1.
It's pro football, my man. All right, we're gonna watch that game, Derek. We would have won state if Coach put me and Derek. You get the first. So good, Derek. That movie is a gem. Napoleon Dynamite. Oh man.
Oh, but it's another game that I think that should be on the radar. It is the Penn State West Virginia game.
Where's that one at?
Morgantown, West Virginia.
Okay. All right.
Yep,
all right.
They got to bust their way all the way to Morgantown because it is a small town of about 30,000, and there is no airport nearby. The nearest one is in Pennsylvania. So if you're any team out of state, like you're flying to Pennsylvania and busing your way down to the middle of nowhere in West Virginia.
Okay. Does anybody in Corn Dog, your contributions are solid on this show, but I've got to say, does anybody feel like since the Olympics with volleyball and now college football starting, Corn Dog has had this massive Billy Madison moment where he's given the speech and then all of a sudden he's like, what happened? I blacked out, and he gets awarded no points, and may God have mercy on your soul, yada yada yada. But dude, you're spitting some fire. I think Frank the Tank did that too in old school as well.
Yeah. Morgantown. Anyone who's actually played at Morgantown will tell you that is one of the toughest places to play. If you're a freshman, you're in your head and you're away that your first time playing, and you're like, where the hell am I?
Yep.
Because you're just busting and you're in the middle of nowhere. You're like, what? Where am I? And then it's just a bunch of crazy Mountaineer fans out there singing "Take Me Home, Country Road," and you're like, what is this place?
I'm going to take up for some of those kids, though. If you're playing at that level of football or at that level of D1, you've probably been around camps. You've been in some crazy environments, played some big games. But, yeah, it changes in college for sure. It definitely changes. All right, brother, I'm going to get you out of here. Thank you so much for kicking us off tonight. Oh, gosh, my Corn Dog, my watch is going nuts now. I just hear ding, ding. I'm like, oh. Is this thing going to have to go to the Apple store now, too? Oh, here we go.
Apple products. Boy. They won't let you fix them yourself.
Oh, man. Tell you what. Good start to the night, brother. Appreciate you. We'll be talking tomorrow. King's Court After Dark. We'll mix one of these every once in a while. Really quick, we will bring in our man, John Finch. What's up, Johnny?
I'm good, Ryan. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great. No complaints.
Hey, man. Hey, having Corn Dog on there to talk college football, that's kind of a lot about what I kind of wanted to talk about, too, and I know he's somewhat of an expert just from knowing him on your platform. He is a knowledgeable individual. And I was wondering how he thinks TCU is going to do. And Notre Dame is, I'm an Irishman, too. Are we going to win 10 games or lose 2 or 1? How's that going to go? And how does he see it? So I almost wanted to see how many guys we could get on board having the college football toe down on a nighttime Wednesday. I'm taking the garbage out and shooting the bull with you, Ryan. So it's a little different, but it's pretty fun.
I love it. I don't have enough time to do a Royal Rumble. Wish I could, though. A little call. We'll schedule that. We will make sure we get one of those. You
can schedule. I'm just putting it in your ear, Ryan, because I know you could do it. If anybody can, Ryan, it's you.
I appreciate that, Johnny. And as for Notre Dame, dude, Marcus Freeman, it's time to step up to the plate. He's done pretty good as head coach, but he's had a few little whiffs. Some plays that.
Well, hey, you know what he reminds me? Ryan, listen, you know what he reminds me of? There's a guy I love who's an NFL coach, is Dan Campbell. I love the way he coaches his guys. He makes some poor decisions. Dan Campbell does down the stretch.
Yes.
X's and O's wise, and having such a young dude like Freeman as our head coach, it's really different NFL, to the college level, but being at Notre Dame at the college level is almost
Right.
as close to the NFL level
It's a
as
great
you can
point.
get, unless you're in the SEC or something like that. So
It's a
we
great
shall
point.
see, man.
It's
We
a great
shall
point.
see, and this is what corn dog. This is what he's about too, man. This is why we play him, and this is why I
Yes!
love this time of year,
I
man.
love it when you say that. That is a
Thanks for doing a late show, Ryan.
Of course. There's no way
And
I was
hey-
going to miss out.
And I want to tell everybody that's listening to Ryan right now, this is called the King's Court, and Ryan is really about the Sacramento Kings. He will talk about anything, but he has really been paying a lot of attention to the Sacramento Kings, and that means also the Stockton Kings. And when I went to a game with Ryan, he introduced me to a lot of people. Some of them knew me. I knew most of them. But, man, that was a great seat. And Ryan's not bullshitting you when he tells you that he knows a little something about a little something.
I
Keep up the
appreciate
great
that,
work,
Finchy.
Ryan.
I appreciate that, man. Love you, brother. Thank you for the call.
Love you, brother.
dude. Be well. Look at Finch. You guys are picking me up on a Wednesday night at King's Court after dark. I love it. That is how you start off a show. By the way, I got to ask, BJ, my man BJ, are you in the house? BJ, let me know if you're in the chat. Something happened today that has never happened to me in my close to 25? Is it 25, 26 years as a clone? Let me know if you're here, BJ. We have it in common. Speaking of in common, what do Caitlin Clark and Keegan Murray have in common? Anybody know the answer to that? We can get to that here in a few minutes. So, as I said at the top of the show, I wanted to start here with the 49ers. I get this is a dead horse. We just keep beating this thing to death with Brandon Ayuk and Trent Williams. Now, I put them in separate categories in this light. Trent Steele's going to get done. The Niners can't have a season without Trent Williams. Brandon Ayuk, questionable. Now, is it going to hurt the offense not having him? Almost certainly. But they could still be very successful. But if you ask any Niners fan, whether you agree with me on that or not, I think we can all agree here. The Niners have greatly misjudged this situation, or at least publicly, it seems like they have not handled the Brandon Ayuk situation well. Well, what's the holdup? There's a trade in place. Brandon Ayuk wants this much. There's reports that the Niners came off their firm number and came up closer to what Brandon Ayuk wanted. Well, and now we're at the point where people are saying he's going to be traded tomorrow. They're saying he's going to be traded on September 7th. But I've talked to some people at Niners camp, and not with the Niners, but that have been covering the 49ers camp. And the consensus that I'm coming away with on this Brandon Ayuk situation is Brandon Ayuk and his agent are moving the goalpost. They put out there that, I think we probably have a deal if we can get here. And then the Niners wiggle, they get a little bit closer, and they just squeeze up to it, and then the goalpost moves. So if you're the 49ers, I understand the frustration now, because Brandon Ayuk, I said this earlier in the week, he is not a CeeDee Lamb. He is not a Jamar Chase. He is not a Justin Jefferson. He is an incredible wide receiver, but he is not a bona fide number one receiver. Now, Kyle Shanahan is clearly getting very, very tired of this situation. This goes back a couple of weeks. We've played many sound clips here. Check out Kyle Shanahan's. This was the opening of his press conference today when, the media wanted to talk about the 53-man roster. Remember, 53s were finalized yesterday. Practice squads being finalized today. Here's how Kyle's press conference started.
Are you practicing today?
I hope so. I actually haven't got to see him today. Players got in late today. I've been doing the 53 and practice squad and kind of still working on it. But I hope so.
Is your expectation that he will be available to play week 1?
I don't really have any expectation. That's what I'm hoping for.
When you say you hope so, does that mean he has told you that he is going to practice today?
No.
Is there any reason to believe that today would be different than previous weeks?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything. I've been working on the 53, the practice squad. I haven't talked to him. I know he's been cleared by our doctors. So I hope that he's out there practicing today.
Kyle, if he is going to practice today, what limitations do you want to put on him?
We'll just have him go through individual things like that, start running routes with their quarterbacks. Probably won't let him go against.
My man, Brandon Ayuk, by the way, what is up, Peter? What's up, Kevin? Yes, it is. And yeah, get off the pot. Do it. Get it done. Peter chiming in about Ja'Marr Chase. Decided to not practice today because he wants to get paid too. Everything I'm hearing is the Bengals are not paying him. Well, I take that back. T. Higgins is probably not going to be getting paid, and he will probably be moving on because most times you play on that franchise tag, you are not coming back in many situations. Ja'Marr, he's had some injury problems too, but he is a much more explosive receiver. But to both of your points, and much like Ja'Marr Chase, Brandon Ayuk cleared to play, right? He is good to go now. Let's not kid ourselves. He's been good to go all camp. This was the Niners extending an olive branch to him so he doesn't get fined for missing practices. It's a quote unquote hold in. But here's what you've done, Brandon Ayuk. Whether you believe it or not, you have now turned Kyle Shanahan basically. And here, let me play another clip from Kyle, by the way.
I'll deal with that when that happens, if that happens.
So just to clarify, if he practices, that's not any sign that anything's close one way or the other in terms of the contract extension?
No.
Brandon Ayuk, you, my friend, have somehow turned Kyle Shanahan, who is normally pretty bubbly, pretty decent to talk to. Sometimes he comes off as a little bit too cool for school, but you're turning him into the modern day.
At the most important position and still beat a good, well-coached team that decisively. What does that say about just where your team is right now, just how good it is right now?
I don't know.
You've prepared to face this Peyton Manning-led offense more than 20 times in your coaching career. Is there one common thread that stands out to you over the years?
I guess, man.
Right, that you said Sean Lee visited you as a kid in Cleveland, or did I miss that when you were talking about you?
Yeah.
What was that connection?
Where were you on snap face there when we were talking about that?
Get together.
Yeah. Well, he's a Pittsburgh guy, friend of a friend kind of thing.
Coach, do you think the fans have a right to know about what happened with Chandler on Sunday?
Yeah, I've already covered this.
Kyle Shanahan is now becoming the modern day Bill Belichick when it comes to this Brandon Ayuk situation. And can you blame him? He's got to be so sick of taking these questions. And if you watch the video, you can see the visible frustration on Kyle Shanahan's face. Now, let's flip the script a little bit. John Lynch also talked to the media today, and it was much of the same, but John was willing to expand a little bit more than our man Kyle. Here's John Lynch.
Yeah, fortunately, there's 90 players here. There's preseason games. There's the work of getting better, and that goes into putting a team together. But no question about it, when you've got some of your better players, two of them in particular, that aren't out there, and that's your job. Yeah, you take a lot of pride in that. And I think one thing, we got a lot of really good players, and we've rewarded a lot of good players, and that makes things tougher at times. But I remain optimistic. We'll find a way to put the best squad out there, and really happy with where this team's at, and what we do have to offer the players.
Okay, so he gave us a little bit more context about the roster overall, but he gave you a lot more than Kyle Shanahan gave you. Now, this is what caught me. I'm not sure if any of you caught this either, but this is what spoke the most to me about John Lynch's press conference. He was being asked about the situation with Trent Williams. He was being asked about the situation with Brandon Ayuk. He expanded on a little bit on the Trent situation and what that's been like. In fact, let's play it for you. Let's see if you can catch this, because to me, there's a subtle dig at Brandon Ayuk in his camp, and it fits perfectly in line with what a lot of the reports are saying and some of the people that I've spoke to that are at Niners camp. Here's John Lynch again.
The Trent situation.
No, there's no updates there. I mean, there's good communication. We're constantly working, throwing out ideas to try to have a breakthrough, and it just hasn't happened yet.
Is there good communication between you and Brandon?
Yeah, there's communication, and it's been ongoing, with Brandon.
Did we catch that there? Yeah, there's communication.
It's been ongoing.
Is there good communication between you and Brandon?
Yeah, there's communication, and
yeah, there's communication. That's like one of those is a parrot where you just roll past it really quick, hoping that nobody's going to follow up on it. But that speaks leaps and bounds to me. That was not one of those times where he misspoke. That was intentional. That was John Lynch comparing the way that both situations are being handled, in my opinion, from the players and their agents. It's very clear. They have said all along, John Lynch, on all of his appearances on KMBR, on many of his press conferences, he's used good communication with Trent Williams, great communication. Kyle Shanahan has done the same. But when it comes to Brandon Ayuk, it's a little bit different. So as I believe it was Peter said just a few minutes ago, it's time to S or get off the pot and fine Brandon Ayuk. If he's not going to be practicing, he was reportedly not at practice today. So the Niners, this clock has ticked way past midnight on these holdouts. There's too much, really, to risk on this season. And I really like how John Lynch brought it back. He was asked, look, are you satisfied with this team, this being a Super Bowl team that, the ownership, is there not enough money, in your opinion, being spent? Are they limiting you? Here's what John had to say, and I found it very, very interesting, and I really liked it. Here's John.
Make sure you have the best chance this year.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Tim, I don't think you can ever make an assumption that you're ready for a Super Bowl. You got to earn that every year. That's nothing is given in this league, and we have a very talented team. We have a very proven team that's won a lot of games, but this is a new team. We like our team. We feel like we've improved. And yeah, this team has never fallen short on resources. Since we've been here, we've been one of the top spenders in the league. And I think there's reason for that. We've got a lot of good players. Our talent acquisition has worked, whether it be through the draft, whether it be through trade. And as a result, we've had a lot of top players in their leagues at their respective positions. So that's a good thing, but it does make things tougher. Those are our challenges. Those are the things we have to deal with.
Back to
Good stuff there from John Lynch saying, hey, it is not easy to classify yourself as a Super Bowl team. Slow it down for a second. Peter asking question. The Brady Patriots won 6 titles without a marquee wide receiver. They didn't win a title with Randy Moss. That's correct. I've said, in fact, Peter, maybe you were or weren't here for some of these conversations. Name the last Super Bowl team that won a championship that has a bona fide number 1 receiver. There's an argument that the recent Super Bowls have not been won by teams with a true number one. It's been a core of receivers, much like the Niners, much like the Packers. So a good point there. Not too bad. Following up, the Pats didn't allow their wide receiver to hold them hostage. Why now? Yeah, it's a different time, Peter. This player empowerment, and I give a little bit more lenience. I guess lenience would be the word. I'm a little bit more lenient with the NFL players because of the way that the contracts are non-guaranteed. So if you are outplaying your contract, if the market has massively changed and you are at the top of that market and you're not being paid as such, then I don't have a problem with a player asking for fair compensation, especially when on the flip side, he could get hurt tomorrow and the team could cut him and he could have no health insurance and nothing to lay back on. That's why with CeeDee Lamb, $38 million signing bonus. There's a reason for that. That is the money clears the bank, regardless of what happens in 2 or 3 seasons. So it was a different time then. Ayuk is in a different situation than Trent Williams. In fact, arguably, Trent Williams is holding them a little bit more hostage than Ayuk, as funny as that sounds, because Ayuk's going into that last team option year on the contract. He feels like he's outpaid it. Trent Williams has 2 or 3 years left on his contract, and he's 36 years old, and all of his guaranteed money's out. And he's like, hey, hook me up. I want to be paid. I want some more guarantee. And so I think it's just one, I think it's an organizational thing, but 2, times have changed in the NFL. Times have greatly changed. And it's not just the NFL, it's the NBA too. The NBA is huge with that. I mean, players can they can push their way out of a city almost any time that they want to. We've seen it happen way too many times. Peter, Kevin, don't the Steelers have a policy of not negotiating with players at a certain point? Yeah, I don't know on team policies. And I saw that Kevin was in the chat about the Steelers. I just missed it. Kevin, where are you at, man? I saw you talking about your Steelers. Let's see. There you go. Yeah, preseason. There we go. Flores, what's up, my man? Who's on the KC 3P wagon? It's so hard. It's so hard to bet against Mahomes. It just is. I don't know how you bet against Mahomes yet. I'm not making my Super Bowl pick until Friday, but if he's in the playoffs, how do you go against him? You saw what happened last year. By the way, Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh, going to be your starting quarterback for the Steelers. How are you feeling about that, Kev? John, Rams. Oops, John, I don't want to block you. That wouldn't be very nice. You had a good call, and I like you. You guys talking boyfriends, girlfriends, everything else. All right. King's Court, After Dark, having fun here on a Wednesday night. Remember, I'm going to be heading out on vacation next week. I'll try to get as much audio as I can up on the Apple and Spotify platforms. But as for live shows, we will be off for the week. I always wait until the last moment to pack and do all that stuff. And this phone thing today, that took about 12. It took a day out of my week that I couldn't sacrifice, which means I am down to basically 1 day to get ready. Well, day and a half, get ready for the trip, and then it's a red eye out of town Friday night. But again, we are brought to you by Bennett's Westside Grill in Rockland. Make sure you go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com. You can learn more about all 3 of their locations. We had an amazing both the people and food lunch today out at Bennett's in Roseville. Grant, Jerry, Brian Knight, MLB umpire, and myself catching up, having a good time. Make sure that you go out, have yourself a good time as well. They've got amazing specials. You know, I always talk about the weekend brunch. bottle of champagne, 2 entrees, $49. Tell you what, why don't I let Bennett's and the food do the talking for me right now?
The biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew.
And that's just the brunch. What about dinner?
Serving the freshest handcrafted foods in a warm, convivial setting. Enjoy our weekend bubbles and brunch, an inflation-busting happy hour with handcrafted cocktails offered 7 days a week. Join us Mondays for a wine and dine deal, 2 entrees, 2 salads, and a bottle of wine. We offer a wine list with 60 selections by the glass, and they go great with our handcrafted desserts. As for craving, every day we feature our prime seafood and house-cut steaks. Come enjoy our hospitality. Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Eat well, stay well.
Eat well, stay well, baby. Huge thank you to Bennett's for sponsoring the show tonight. Make sure you go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com for more information. We got a lot going on in the sports world, by the way. I teased it a little bit. Keegan Murray, Caitlin Clark, here's what they have in common. They both own the rookie three-point record in their respective leads. Caitlin Clark broke that tonight. Congratulations to her. By the way, I didn't talk about this yet either. Remember how we talked about Domas being followed last year by Netflix? We hyped this up a little bit. You've seen the quarterback series that Netflix has had. You've seen most recently the receivers series that they have. Well, Netflix has announced that the starting 5, which is the basketball, the NBA edition of that, they have announced that it is going to be coming out in October. Are you ready for it? We are excited about it. It's going to feature, check this out, LeBron? What? So here's the date for you. It comes out on October 9th. The 5 players, Jimmy Butler, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, and Domantas Sabonis. Now, what I think is going to be really interesting about this is not that there's going to be this huge mix of different personalities, but the season last year, arguably Domas's best of his career, but also probably one of the hardest adversity-wise. I want to see what that's going to look like on camera, off the court. And for those that don't know, Domas does an incredible job of keeping work and family separate. In terms of when he gets home, it's family time. We're not talking basketball. We're not talking work. I am present in the moment and I'm with my family. And that is something for anybody. I don't care if you're a pro athlete. I don't care if you're flipping burgers at McDonald's. That is a hard thing to do. So much love to Domas for that. But I want to see the ups and downs of last season. I want to see him talk about some of the changes he made. If you don't know, last year, he changed in the offseason last year. He did some diet testing and found out that there was a little bit of an irritation when it came to pastas, completely cut pastas out. So he is committed to his craft. And so I just want to follow him through that season, see what it looks like, see maybe some of that frustration about not making the All-Star team. It's going to be fun to see. And I mean, you look at the list of players that are involved in this, and you'd think Domas probably is going to get the least camera time out of everybody. It would make sense. Jason Tatum wins an NBA title. LeBron James, Anthony Edwards, Jimmy Butler, right? Those are much bigger names, but it's going to be a good little peek behind the curtain. And we'll also see what it's going to look like as a team. Are we going to learn anything about the Kings from last year behind the scenes that we didn't already know? Remember, there's a lot of questions still unanswered about last season. What happened? Why didn't Fox talked to the media for 16 days. I'm not going to rehash that entire thing tonight. We've talked a ton about it already, but it should be a fun series to watch. The producers of receivers and quarterback have done an excellent job with that series. So really cool that Domas is going to be a part of the starting five. It's going to cover the 23-24 season, coming out Netflix October 9th. October 9th. So mark that on your calendars. Grant, where is Grant? He is off enjoying himself. He was on at 4:00. You can go back, Gonzo, and check out his show from earlier today. He'll be back tomorrow at 4:00 as well. Kevin, where is vacation? This is the, I feel I'm going to talk quiet here. It's just us, right? Okay. This is the rare solo trip. It's not a family vacation. Getting together with all of my boys from we're all spread across the nation. We have a place that is in the Midwest that we're going to be hanging out. I can't say exactly where. I'll drop a hint, the frozen tundra, and I'll leave it at that. But we're going to be getting together, having a good time, and also doing that fantasy football draft that I had been telling you all about, where I needed the punishment. I needed help on the punishment. So we're going to be drafting this coming Monday, but I'll be in Wisconsin for the week. Looking forward to that very much. Grant is with you, Alex. Awesome. All right. Yeah, Kevin, it's a struggle, my man. It is tough to keep those things separate. That's why I say it is very, very hard. It's too bad BJ isn't here. I was really hoping to share this with him. So for those that don't know, I've listened to Jim Rome for close to 20, 25 years, had the chance to get to know a lot of people with his show, and, got to do a 5-minute segment with him one time here in Sacramento, which was really cool. But BJ, the reason I bring it up is BJ blew our minds not too long ago. And he's like, oh, yeah, I used to be a caller to the Jim Rome show. We're like, what? I'm like, what? Were you really, BJ? And he's like, yeah, he glossed me the Velociraptor of Sucktown. And I might be saying that wrong because he corrected me on it last time. But in all of my time as being a participant on the Jim Rome show, being somebody that many times gets a lot of cracks thrown my way and it turns into open season on Rhino, I had never had this happen.
Ryan in Sacktown?
Oh, not that one. Excuse me. This one. No, not Real Man of Genius. This one.
And Ryan in Sucktown.
There we go. He said Ryan in Sucktown, BJ. He Sucktowned me. That's your thing, dude. That's your thing. He Sucktowned me for the first time in 25 years. What's up with that? So, BJ, we'll talk about that more later. I know you're not here. Yeah, we already know Grant's with you. Then if Grant's with you, you guys are probably at Bennett's. So, Adam, what's up, man? Fox was so mad he wasn't picked for the show. Drama. Yeah, I don't think that was it. Foxy is very, very chill. And we have breaking news, in fact. So I know that you are lying, Alex, by the way, because y'all, Grant is going to join us at 2:00 on the King's Court. Grant is coming into the King's Court tomorrow. So if you want to hear us rap, you're asking where Grant's at. Let me just tell him. Absolutely. So there you go. Grant and I will be together tomorrow, 2:00 on the King's Court here on If You Don't Like That. So make sure that you tune in for that. So anyways, let's see. Just made that up. Wanted to say what's up. Cool. Job is a project manager of a commercial door and hardware company. Want to trade. Are you asking me, Kevin, if I want to trade? I don't know about that. Yeah, no, I love what I do, Kevin. I'm sorry not to take anything away from what you do, but this is my dream. So, anyways, we're gonna get ready to wrap it up. What's up, Bane? How you doing, man? All right, so it is set. Napes and I tomorrow, 2:00, the King's Court. Napes has never been in the King's Court. So make sure you spread the word. That'll be a lot of fun. We will talk and we'll have some fun segments set up and certainly be monitoring what is going on. Sports, as I said, going crazy right now. You got baseball that is absolutely on fire coming down the stretch. You got the U.S. Open. Djokovic playing. Before I came on the air, he was up 1 set. Also, what else do we got going in sports? Obviously, the NFL, which we've talked about, but a ton of stuff going on. But Grant and I will be back 2:00. Grant is going to make his debut in the King's Court. Looking forward to that. We'll be taking your calls, having a good time. And again, a huge thanks to Bennett's Westside Grill for sponsoring the show tonight. Make sure that you go check them out. Bennett'sRestaurants.com. You can learn more about all of their locations, 3 in all, and some amazing specials. You've seen the videos, so definitely go show them some love. Sorry that some of you just showed up, but go catch the replay. All of the library of If You Don't Like That is right here on the YouTube channel for If You Don't Like That, including pre-post halftime shows for the last 2 seasons of the Kings. Also, really quick, Sean Salisbury, football season. He's going to be joining Grant 2:00 on I believe 3:00 on Tuesdays once football gets started. So he'll be back for another season. And then before you know it, we are rolling back in to the NBA. It's going to be a fun time. This is a very, very fun time of year between baseball wrapping up and NBA. Hey, Kings 0-0. And very, very excited about what they're going to do. And a lot of optimism in Sacramento about this season. So, all right, 2:00 tomorrow. Grant joins us on the King's Court. We will have a fun show planned for you, but make it a great night. Thank you for joining us on the King's Court After Dark. Appreciate everybody in the chat. John, Corndog, great job on the calls tonight. Baki, hit me.
Holy moly, Jimbaboli.
Go Kings, light the damn beam. Don't forget, Grant joins the King's Court tomorrow, 2 p.m. right here on If You Don't Like That. Court is dismissed.